So you want to host a conference pretty soon, but you don't know where to start. Well, here's my suggestion. How you doing, everybody? CJ Williams, video producer, podcast producer, and so you have a plan of hosting a conference real soon, maybe within the next year, a few months. You don't know where to start. By the way, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Be sure to hit the like button on this video, and if you're listening on the podcast, be sure to do the same thing on whichever platform that you're listening on. So you got plans within the next year to host a conference, or in the next few months, because you feel like you have some influence, you want more influence, you want to grow your brand, your business, your coaching, your consulting business, and you feel like a conference is going to give you the ultimate, or give your audience and people you know the ultimate experience, and allow you to sell to more people at one time. And you're absolutely right about that. It is going to give you a chance to do all of those things, have more influence, sell your programs to more people, and give them that face-to-face experience, bring in others to help you do the same thing, and just the whole experience of a conference is great. As someone who has had a chance to work at a couple of these, either attending, working with the attendees, or working with the host to produce these conferences, I will tell you that there's one thing you need to have in place before you even search for an event planner for your conference. I mean, for your event planner, like thinking about where you will host it, planning out dates, the weekend, what type of venue, who type of vendors or sponsors you might want to bring in. Before you even think about that, you need an audience. That's right. So when you think about a conference, people are going to be paying to attend a conference. And a lot of times they're held on the weekend. So you're asking them to pay to spend a weekend with you. You're also asking them in some cases to travel to you. And that can be a lot. So without an audience or people to sell to and to get to this conference, without an audience, it's going to be hard for you to get them or to sell tickets. It's going to be hard for you to attract speakers. It's going to be hard for you to attract sponsors and vendors. You need an audience. You might say, hey, well, I have a good Facebook following, or Instagram or TikTok following. One thing about social media followers is, since the barrier for entry for social media, meaning anybody can do it, right? It's absolutely free. It takes little to no effort. And actually, followers on some of these platforms can be purchased. Like, people can buy followers. And so that means likes and the engagement that you get is not going to carry as much weight as you would with what I'm about to suggest to you. How are you going to grow your audience within a few months, or to prepare you to where in a year you can have a good audience, a good engaged audience, an audience that's ready to spend money with you? How can you grow that audience? And what's the best way? The best way is with a podcast. Hands down, the best way to grow your audience. And if you add a video component, which is what I do with my clients, you just increase your marketability with that podcast. You increase your influence, you increase your exposure. Everything increases exponentially when you add a video component. So why a podcast? Authority comes with podcasting. Getting into podcasting is so easy, but being consistent with the podcast is tough. And that's where the challenge lies for a lot of people. Like, being consistent. A lot of people start podcasts, especially during the pandemic. A lot of people were starting podcasts, but keeping up with the podcast is the hardest part. And if you can be the one, that stays consistent with it, and two, stays niche with it. Like, you stay on target. You know who your audience is, and you're providing the information that they need. You're bringing on great guests as part of your podcast. You're delivering. You're growing your email list with it. You're able to get people into a Facebook group. You're able to get them to subscribe to your other social channels. You're getting them to leave reviews, all of that stuff. If you're able to do that, then you're growing an audience, and that increases with having a podcast. Consider this. Consider posting something on social media, whether it be TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, and getting 50 likes. Now, compare that to getting 50 downloads on a podcast. Which one would you prefer? Think about the effort it takes to create a post. Let's say a reel, 60-second reel where you're sitting there talking. Think about the effort it takes to create a podcast episode, upload it. It takes a little bit more effort, but it also takes a little bit more effort for people to go to and listen to it and actually get something from it, right? They have to go to it, find it in the app, and they have to click on it, and they have to plug in and take the time out. Well, I mean, I ain't gonna say take the time out because they can really be doing it while they're at the gym or wherever, walking the dog, cooking, cleaning. But it takes a little bit more effort to create it. It takes a little bit more effort to subscribe to it, to listen to it. Whereas a Facebook like or Instagram like takes little to no effort, and they may not even consume the content. They're just liking it, especially if they're like your cousin or something like that. Like those likes carry less weight than, and if it's me, I take 50 podcast downloads over 50 likes on Instagram on any post. I'll take that any day, and you should want to as well. Like you should see it that way as well. So if you have this audience, once you have this audience, you're being consistent with it, you have a better chance of selling tickets to your conference. And hopefully, like I mentioned earlier, hopefully with having this podcast, you're getting people on an email list. You're getting them to join your Facebook group. You're getting them to share. That's a big thing too. You're getting them to share. And I forgot to mention the video component. If you have the video component to your podcast, now you can actually have content for YouTube, where you could take those episodes, whether you take the full episodes or just segments of those episodes, upload them to YouTube, and then you can cut this stuff up for social media. Cut up the clips for social media. Now you have marketability. Now, not only are you there, but it's just less work because the content's already created. You're just distributing it, repurposing it, and like I said, distributing it to all the channels. So it's less work. Start with the long form content and go from there. And now you're building an audience. So that's just my spiel. As somebody again who has helped people on as attendees to conferences and been a part of producing a conference, helping. I think it starts. A podcast is the best way to start building an audience when you really want to get serious about hosting a conference, and you really want to grow an audience that's engaged, a real audience. Again, podcast downloads carry a little bit more weight than Instagram likes. I'll take 50 podcast downloads consistently over 50 Instagram likes consistently any day. By the way, please be sure, I'll put the link in the bio or in the show notes to download my free video podcast planner. It's going to walk you through how to get started with your podcast, discovering your why and your mission and the ultimate reason why you're starting this podcast. Help you plan it out by segments, who should you have on as guests, and just building out your podcast. So be sure to download that. It's absolutely free. And feel free to leave comments, of course. And of course, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions, I look forward to addressing them. Again, my name is CJ Williams. Until next time.